I am currently not buying food because I have so much food in my freezer and in my cupboards. I'm going to eat my way through all of that. I'm going to need extra veg so I can forage. It's spring in the UK, and the most widely available and very nutritious plant is stinging nettle, so I'm going to start with that. I was driving through Newhaven in East Sussex, a place I know well. I fancied doing a bit of foraging for stinging nettles, and I knew there was an area near Elphick Road which has a large number of them, so I pulled over. I had brought with me some gardening gloves and some bags to put them in. So to double check, I took a photograph of the stinging nettles. I uploaded the photograph to ChatGPT and I asked ChatGPT, what is this plant? It immediately said to me it thought they were stinging nettles. I know ChatGPT can get things wrong, but it's good to have at least a double check. So I took my bag of stinging nettles home. I was planning to make 4 food items with the nettles. So I was going to start with a soup and move on to nettles and cheese on toast. And the next day, make myself a superfood smoothie with nettles in, and for lunch, a spaghetti dish. So first things first, wash the nettles, particularly as they're low down. They're in public, they're on a footpath, and dogs walk by and do what dogs do. So here I'm using washing up gloves to thoroughly wash the nettles. So project 1, I'm going to make some soup. For all of these things, I am only going to use what I already have in my kitchen cupboards. I'm not buying anything new at all. So the ingredients I'm going to use for the soup is a potato, a couple of small carrots, a red onion, stock cube, olive oil, butter, and of course the nettles. Very important, of course, that you blanch the nettles, or you boil them, or you steam them, or you fry them. So one way or another, you need to heat them so that they lose the sting. Obviously, you don't want to eat sting. So here I have thrown the soup ingredients into a pan, giving them a good stir for 5 minutes or so. Break the food down. And then I am adding the stock. So that's a Magi, Maggi cube. They are so flavoursome, I really recommend. So that's boiling away, probably 10 minutes now actually, and I am now adding the stinging nettles. I haven't previously cooked these, they're going in fresh. Now they're boiled. Now there's definitely no sting in the stinging nettles. I need to wait for the soup to cool down before I can put the mixture into my NutriBullet to blend. Unless you have a particular kind of food processor or NutriBullet that allows for venting, you can't put hot food straight in there. So I let the mixture, the soup, cool for a couple of hours and then put it in my NutriBullet and blended it, and it came out this beautiful green colour. I reheated it and then served it up and just put a knob of butter in the middle of the dish. And it was so tasty, really rich, kind of earthy texture and taste. Yeah, I was really pleased with this dish. Quite excited about the next one as well. So the next one is the nettles on toast, on sourdough toast. Just rinsing in water, I'm washing the next lot of stinging nettles. So here's my ingredients. So the sourdough slice, some grated cheddar in my freezer, olive oil, some Dijon mustard, a little bit of sour cream left, and of course the stinging nettles, the key ingredient. So this time I'm frying up the stinging nettles in a little olive oil. As I said, it doesn't matter how you cook them, just cook them so that they lose their sting. Just breaking those down for a couple of minutes. For this dish, I want to chop, so that they're ready to use to mix in. So finely chopped, or fairly finely chopped, and I am adding to all the ingredients the cheese, the mustard and the sour cream. Once it's all mixed, I'm putting it on lightly toasted already sourdough slice and pushing that under the grill. That is beautiful. That was really tasty. It was a bit heavy on the stinging nettles, but they're so nutritious. They are so nutritious. Let me tell you about the nutritious quality of these things. They have vitamins A, B, C, K. They have magnesium. They have calcium. They have iron, etc. If you do a bit of a Google, you will see how highly nutritious this plant is. So again, I am washing, just drumming that in. Got to wash them. So I'm going to put these ones in a smoothie. I want to get rid of all the stalks. I'm cutting off all the stalks, all the hard bits from the stinging nettles and pushing them away into that receptacle. Just chopping off the ends with scissors. So again, I am not going to put stinging nettles raw into my smoothie. I'm sure that would be a pretty painful experience. This time I'm just going to boil them for a minute or two. I could blanch them, but so blanching would be just to put them in hot water, in boiled water, rather than actually boil them. So I'm being cautious. I'm pouring over already boiled water and I'm boiling these for a minute or two. So this is foraged blackberries that I had in my freezer, foraged wild plums that I had in my freezer, and not foraged ginger from the shop. But shops these days, in my experience, sell large amounts of ginger. So instead of letting the rest of the ginger that I didn't use for one meal decay in my fridge, I chop it all up and put it in a large bag, so that lasts for a year or two generally. And it tastes really good in a smoothie as well, just a small amount. That's my chopped and boiled stinging nettles, a mixture of cranberries and sultanas, some mixed seeds, some porridge oats, obviously, flax seeds, chia seeds, and then my favourites, superfood, spirulina, ashwagandha, and some mushroom powder. That is all going to go into my NutriBullet. And on this occasion, I'm adding water. I might sometimes use milk, but on this occasion, there's so much going on, I'm just going to add some water. Doesn't that look beautiful? So there it is. So regardless of the fact that there was some very brightly coloured stinging nettle, it's always the colour of the blackberries that takes over. Bright purple drink. That smoothie was tangier than I expected. With hindsight, I might possibly have added something like maple syrup, but I actually enjoyed the tang. I enjoyed the tang and it was pretty Moorish. Fourth project, I'm going to make a spaghetti dish with just some basics that I have at home. So I'm washing the nettles again, of course, rinsing them in cold water. So I've chopped up an onion and some garlic. I've dug out some chopped spinach from the freezer. I've got my extra virgin olive oil, some spaghetti, and here's our stinging nettles. So firstly, I'm frying the onion and the garlic, and I'm breaking down the frozen spinach. So get all that going and cooked, and then add the stinging nettles. They don't take that long. That'll all be going in there. So a couple of minutes of frying those. Mix it all in. Look how thick those leaves are. It's a beautiful taste. I've got my spaghetti on the go. Now mixing it all in together. And stir that round, fork it round, all mixed in. And there it is. So what did I think of that? I thought it was a good base. It was good as it was. It was enjoyable, but I would add something. I would add something like sun-dried tomatoes or tuna. What I actually ended up adding was Engevita yeast flakes, sunflower seeds that I had toasted in soy sauce, and some truffle oil. And that was just beautiful. That really worked. And I had enough to last a couple of days. I had never eaten stinging nettle in such quantity before, and I was eating those items of food over a few days. And the result? Well, things looked a bit radioactive for a while, which was surprising. But you know, it looked healthy. It looked healthy. I'm looking for participants who want to learn how to use their money wisely. I will guide you, and in return, you will let me follow your progress on YouTube. Visit helennatasha.co.uk/worksheets.